Red lights on, dog. You know what that means? It's
We
morphin'
back.
time.
It's morphin time, and we back.
We back, man. It's been a couple weeks since we done a recording with each other.
Yeah.
Last time the fans heard us, we was putting out episodes 31, 32, and 33, which we kind of
hmm
knocked out in succession. You
Yep.
could even tell if you watch the YouTube videos, we were kind of dressed the same.
Yep. Close days.
And yeah, man, we're back. Just a busy couple weeks. You know, right now we're kind of getting a good break from some real
Nice
life
break.
stuff. It's a nice
hmm
break. It's much needed. And I can't wait because right now we are busting out episode 34 of Rangers of the Grid, dog.
34.
34. We've been rocking and rolling now for a bit, man. And it is the holidays right now. As we're recording, it is the
Yep.
15th of December. We are 10 days away from Christmas, and I can't say Merry Christmas Pinky style yet, but me and
It's
Marcus were
coming.
having a fun little talk about like, man, what are we gonna talk about? Like Rangers have done some holiday stuff. Marcus brought up the great point of not to do Alpha's Christmas special, right,
No,
Marcus?
I said we could. I said we could. It's creepy as hell. It's
Yeah.
it is so creepy, and I kind of like that's like a ooh. Do we want to go there? It's just
You
I'm
know
just
what?
saying
How
it.
about we'll say this, man. Hey, we're still doing this next year, which
Yeah.
Lord hope we are. We will do it next year.
I will say this in defense of Alpha's Magical Christmas, which I can't even believe I'm defending. The thing that just made it creepy was that like Alpha was like creeping on these kids. Like he was like seeing them in the viewing globe, and he was like, "Oh, they're sad. Let's bring them here to the command center." And he's like just pulling them out of bed, basically. But it's like that's literally the premise of what's that movie? The Polar Express,
Yeah.
which always creeps me out.
It's a
Like,
good movie, dude.
I haven't watched it. I don't want to watch it.
Oh, well then
I'm
how
perfectly
does it
okay
creep
with
you
it.
out?
Well, because I remember the story.
Oh,
Like
but
when
but
they would
watch
read
the
us the
movie.
book, and I remember telling like my teacher in grade school, I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And they're like,
Oh,
what?
watch
I
the
was like,
movie. Watch the
they're
movie. It
like
puts a way
a little
different spin
kid,
on it.
like there's a mysterious man saying, "Oh, hey kids, you want to get on my train? I want to take you to see Santa."
Oh,
That's
go
not
watch the
creepy.
movie. Watch the
That
movie,
doesn't
dog.
raise red flags.
No, watch the movie. Watch the
Okay.
movie. Shout outs to my boy Tom Hanks. He plays multiple roles in it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, go watch that. Go watch it first before you hate on it. You can hate the
Okay.
story. Sure. Hate the story. Don't hate the film. You haven't seen it yet. That's not fair.
All right.
All right. And it's worth it. It's
But I'm
it's
just saying,
playing
but
everywhere.
that just the premise though. Okay. I'm just saying we're always taught like stranger danger. And here's a guy, hey, come follow
You
me.
were also
I'll
taught
take you.
sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, which is a bigger lie. Sock me in the face. I'll get over that. Don't say certain things to me. I won't forget. But yeah, man. We did decide to do a Christmas episode for this time of year, which we'll be reviewing here in shortly.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I think we agreed upon one that is like fun, not creepy. Uh, I'm dreaming of a White Ranger. But before we get into that, I did want to talk about some news that's been going on. Let me see if I can pull it up possibly.
Pull it up.
It's the news. I even recently posted about it on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Uh, that McFarlane Toys and Hasbro, I guess are kind of doing not like I wouldn't call it a merger, but
They got a
um, they
partnership going
they
on,
got
right?
they got a partnership going on, um, to do some figures and to do some action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, okay, this will be kind of cool. They are gonna do some action figures based off comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And openly in what they, I guess, licenses they purchased or paid to buy to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first ones they'll start with, which is I guess is the beginning of next year, from what I'm reading, is the first ones they'll start with is GI Joe and Transformers, right?
Okay.
And they're going to be like doing 3 inch, 5 points, like stuff and super reactions and for the first round, but and then eventually do 7 inch scale. Now, the other two uh licenses are Dungeons and Dragons, which shout outs to that movie and like celebrities playing the game for reals because it's blown that
Mm-hmm.
license up. And the fourth one is Power Rangers. And I thought this was pretty cool because as we've seen with most recent cons and things being put out there, like Hasbro's kind of like shelved Power Rangers.
They have.
Like there's nothing on the horizons for them. Um so I thought this is really cool and I think smart that I don't know, we're gonna get more figures and it's gonna be cool. Like think about it, they're gonna do some stuff based off the comics.
Yeah.
McFarlane has the license to DC, which I don't know, Marcus. We've talked about it some, but like they're killing those DC figures.
Oh yeah.
Like
They're
there's a set that they recently came out with.
they're great.
I've thought about making my first, I guess you'd say, like purchase of McFarlane DC figures
Mm-hmm.
because even though, like, truth be told, the movie sucks. Batman and Robin sucks, but I'm so nostalgic to it because I had a lot of the original toys as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So like seeing the way that McFarlane was able to redo them, like they look amazing.
Dude, I got right here. I got the Green Arrow one when that came out.
Oh, I know you did.
Literally based off of Arrow. Like it's so good.
Yeah. So like
These figs are amazing. I'm excited to see what they'll do with Rangers.
I've even already thought because like they're saying packs and this and that. In my head, I'm like, well, Power Rangers has done stuff with the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
That's a layup.
Yep.
You know, like to me, like especially essentially them doing stuff with the comics, like there's a lot that they can do.
Oh, there's so much. They like that's the thing about the comics is like I've said before with Rangers in general, there's already 30 years of like material to work from.
Hmm.
But the great thing about the comics, excuse me, is that they're like filling in the gaps
Oh yeah.
and adding so much stuff into those 30 years.
Like recently, my brother had sent me something and I said, that's sick. Like, that's like in the comics. And he's like, what? And I said him something about the comics. He's like, that's pretty awesome. And I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, in the comics, like, there's a world where like all the Power Ranger teams exist together.
Yep.
And he was like, that's sick.
Yeah. And it's like, so the comics have really like taken that 30 years and now let's like fill in the gaps. And because, there are seasons that, are like connected to other ones and others that are semi like they make allusions to other seasons. But
Hmm.
here they're really taking like, well, look, there's this whole world out there that we can fill in. And,
Yeah.
and that's what they're doing. And it's great. Like we got the whole like Omega Rangers out of them. Draken. See how great that's been. Even
Oh my
what's
gosh,
ones
I know.
I'm really interested to see come out, which I know are gonna look sick
Hmm.
with McFarlane is the Dark Rangers from the comics.
Yeah.
Because knowing how McFarlane is Spawn and how great Spawn just looks, I know the way they redid these Dark Rangers, like when Rita and them became the Rangers, and the way
Hmm.
they looked, those are going to be amazing. Hopefully, we get those. I'm just saying. Because I know also other people are hoping that they're going to somehow continue the Lightning Collection through this. And that's a whole
Yeah.
other thing, you know?
Yeah, that's something I think is gonna be really interesting too. Marcus is like, okay, how are we gonna do this lightning collection now?
Yes.
Like, what are we gonna do? Um,
It's like, do you just keep like going with something that was more that's already been established, that was sort of abandoned?
yeah, and two, like it's a different scale.
Yeah.
Like it's a different scale of figures. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited for more Power Rangers,
Yeah, it's
you
it's one
know.
of those things at the end of the day, all anything new, any new content, I'm all for it.
Like and this will be the last thing I say on it. We can move on. I think it's sad that you have a new Power Rangers team, a newish team, even though it's the same team, but they got a fresh coat of paint, a
Hmm.
cool coat of paint, and a lot like 30th season, and you don't have a Ranger team out,
Yeah. And
like you
not
don't
even
have
that, but
action figures.
like look at what they did for the 20th, re-releasing all those Red Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
In the 25th, they even did stuff. It's kind of like, what we doing?
Nothing. Yeah, I know. So hopefully we get something out of it. I actually think it's really cool. McFarlane, man, they stepped up their game. Their Spawn figures are insane.
They are.
Like, so they got some good stuff on the horizon. I wanted to bring this up before, so because not everyone always stays to the end of podcasts, so it is what it is. I want to bring this up. We are gonna do another giveaway because our last one worked
Yep.
so well. Um,
Yep.
it worked out so well, and I don't even think we've had like a chance to say anything on here yet about it.
No, we actually
Our
haven't. This
last
could be a good,
giveaway.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So our last giveaway with our giveaway winner um was given to, and his name is sick, by the way, like
Very
young Moolah
big,
baby.
big fan.
Yeah, he was our giveaway winner. We had a bunch of people enter, which was awesome.
Hmm.
It's been helping us grow. And so we're gonna do another one, but this one isn't even for like we'll put it on Instagram. We're gonna obviously promote it on Instagram. Instagram has our most, I guess, support.
Yeah.
But we want to grow our YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Um, and there is going to be some things we try to do more with our YouTube channel to help, but we want to grow it. We want to have a certain number of subscribers, so we want to keep it simple. We just want to hit 100. I think we're about halfway.
Yeah. Let me look. I'll look real quick. It's close.
I like using that word about because that means it's close to 50, right?
I knew we grew during the giveaway. We're at 48.
Okay, so about 50.
Yeah.
We're at 48. We want another 50. We
Hmm.
want 100. We want to hit 100. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna put out a giveaway to get to 50, or excuse me, to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube. And then we are going to give away. It's like speaking of Hasbro, right?
Right.
We are going to give away a little plastic free packaging of the Lightning Collection Remastered.
Red
Now, the
Ranger
cool
with
thing
the
about
dragon shit.
this, the Red Ranger with the Dragon Shield, you can almost call this who you want because due to some things going on, there is no head besides his helmet head.
Oh.
So if you have an Austin St. John, you can put that head on here. If you have Rocky DeSantos, or excuse me, Steve Cardenas, you can
Hmm.
do that. It does say Jason Lee Scott from what episode it depicts.
Hmm.
That actually looks sick.
Yeah.
Like these remasters look awesome, man. Like they're amazing posed.
I I remember seeing a thing like this a couple days ago, and they're like, okay, let's do a poll. I think it was on Twitter. Who wore the Dragon Show better? They look better on red or green. But you know what's funny? The
Hmm.
surprising winner was
Black.
black by the write-in. Everyone was like, nah, dude, it looked way cooler on the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
I mean, green's iconic, don't get me wrong. It's always gonna fit. Like the Green Ranger always looks to me weird without it.
Yeah, it looks terrible without it to be truthful.
Yeah, it's always like, no, what is this? It always looks weird to me and it doesn't look right. But that black though,
Yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
was
it was a
cool for
clean.
it's one and done.
Mm-hmm.
For it's one and done. It makes sense. It's one of those nice little like, oh, this one episode this happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe, excuse me, not to YouTube, because you can't really subscribe to YouTube. subscribe to Rangers of the Grid on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us there. And we just want that to grow. We want to get that a little bit bigger. Marcus really mans the YouTube. Um, I man the social medias mostly. But yeah, let's get that to 100. Once that happens, we're gonna put in all the subscriber names and we're gonna pick a winner.
Yep.
So let's get into our main topic of today, Marcus. We chose I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger.
Yep.
And then as soon as like I even just see the episode title, it's just funny. I instantly go into the like Christmas mode.
Right.
I'm dreaming of a white ranger. Yeah, I've been in that
Which
Christmas mode.
to me, just hearing the title, I thought it would be more Tommy centric.
Mm.
They don't even morph in this episode. Let's just be
Yeah,
real. Starting off hot, they don't morph. Interesting.
they don't. I got a very big like, let's bring them down on like a human vibe with
Yeah.
this.
It was it besides the whole Santa's workshop thing. This
Uh-huh.
to me felt very like holiday special. Because like holiday specials on TV shows are always different. Something always happens. They kind of exist like if it's a serious show or just like a sitcom, they can have elements of like the supernatural stuff happening, and it's just like a oh well, it is what it is, just for that
Mm-hmm.
episode. Stuff can happen, and then the next episode, everything's normal again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, this one felt very kind of okay, like it's Rangers, but they don't morph. It was very interesting to me. No powers. They gonna
No
teleport. That's
powers.
it.
Yep. And it wasn't like you said, it was different for
Yeah,
sure.
it was.
Like it was a different episode. I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, like this is different. I did get the vibe though of like, oh, all right, we're trying to, I guess, I don't want to say the word humanize because they're humans, but like we want to show a different side of them.
Yes.
We wanted to show that other side, which I do feel like it's funny. Like it does kind of relate more to the holiday feeling that they were trying to go for.
Uh-huh.
Um, but you are right. Like it would have been cool if he at least morphed, right? If we're gonna title that.
Yeah, like it felt like this should be a almost like a hey, Tommy comes and saves the day type thing. Like you always
And,
do.
and
But this
it's
time
funny
it's like
that
Christmas.
this came out on video before it came out on TV
Yeah.
too. Like it was like 2 months before on video, and
Hmm.
then it got released in November, late November.
Yeah.
Um, and just right away, initial thoughts on how it starts off. Uh, Hanging out at the juice bar, and that's
It
something we haven't talked about much yet on this
yeah.
podcast. Ernie's Juice Bar. You personally, I think, you love the juice bar.
I do. It is my favorite like Power Rangers or like hangout
Yeah,
set
you've
thing.
always like loved it. You
Hmm.
you know you if anyone really knows how you feel about Power Rangers, man, Marcus loves the juice bar thing. I think if Marcus could have his own real life version of the juice bar,
I
he would.
would. I
Um,
would. I would
so
a
just
100% start my own.
so now that this episode, like, bam, that's how this starts. Like,
Hmm.
what'd you think at the beginning of this episode when bam, here we are, we're at the juice bar, let's go.
It was your very kind of typical Power Rangers episode. But
Mhm.
just without like here they are doing this like ooh
Yeah,
we're helping these like less fortunate kids.
yeah,
Like you get
yeah.
the generic like exposition of like once Billy, because you see like Rocky, Billy, and Tommy walk in, and then like Aisha and Kim are with these little kids doing like songs,
Hmm.
and then it's just like it's typical Ranger stuff. They're like these teenagers working with these other kids and the stuff for the community. And then Billy's like, it's great that these little like these unfortunate or less fortunate kids have a place to go for Christmas and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, here we go. Typical Power Rangers, right? Typical Power Rangers. They're always doing something for the community.
And then Kimberly makes a comment about what, this is the first Christmas she'll spend without her mom.
And I think that right there for me reminded me of how, like you said earlier, like humanizing the Rangers were,
Yeah.
like with this episode, but also just like I think at times we forget those early episodes of Rangers, and it kind of has gone away. I think I feel like a little bit in these like later seasons. They kind of tackled some stuff and talked about some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kimberly's parents getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Wait, we're gonna talk about like sad divorce stuff right now and parents splitting up
Mm-hmm.
on a kids show. Oh, and then her mom got a new man. What? Like, I think we forget about that sometimes. Like, that's kind of like I know it's kind of just like a throwaway line, but that's one of those things Rangers did, though, dude. They always hit those things, like, because let's be real, there are kids facing stuff like that.
For sure. And that's why I think it was great that they hit on things like that.
Hmm.
From the juice bar, it's always funny. Like we get an inside look of like their hangout, where they're going, and then
Yeah.
we go to the evil place, right? Right? Like right away, Lord Zed, stalking kids, right? Teenagers. Um, in the base of the moon,
Hmm.
and he just so happens to have a, what we call in Spanish, a trompo, but a
Right?
spinning top. He just so happens to have this top that's going to hypnotize children. Right away, hey, thank you for reminding us you're the bad guy. Oh,
Bless
sorry.
you.
These dang kids get me sick, man. Um,
No, I know.
for,
No, I
but
know. That was me a couple weeks ago.
mm-hmm. But like, think about it. He's gonna get the hypnotize the children of the world so they can do his bidding. Real quick, I have a question, Marcus.
What's up?
When you hear that, what's his bidding?
Right? Like, but what's funny though, too, we're coming after literally like this is post My Morphin Power Rangers the movie, okay? And remember,
Mm-hmm.
Ivan was like meant to get the parents, or he wanted to get the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but it was affecting the parents. Now
Yeah.
I think here he's getting it's almost like a flip, but it
Yes.
turns but it I think it seems more diabolical though, because with
Mm.
like when you're getting the parents out the way, let's be real, kids are gonna have fun at first and all that. Like they partying at Ernie's. Hey, the new Ernie's, the movie version of Ernie's, they
Yeah.
party that has, which I don't know if you realize at the end was serving lobster. Like, okay, Ernie got lobsters and stuff on the menu now.
Okay, like these guys are really getting lobster, right?
Like, hey, a whole lobster dinner, and Ernie just does it for free. Like, but it's like that seems a little more fun at first, and then the realization sets in, like, oh, our parents are gone. But when you get the kids, that I think that does make it seem way more evil. But what's
Oh, for
funny though,
sure.
I feel like that trope is kind of like a thing within like kind of superhero-y shows at Christmas. The evil person is gonna do like there's gonna be like this evil toy that goes out to all the kids, and they got to stop it.
Yeah, and it is kind of funny because like I guess what you can call the evil toy would be like whatever is hot and it's hard to get.
Right? Like I remember The Simpsons did it with like when the Furby came out, and they had their little monster creature pet
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah,
So,
so like thinking of that, it's just funny. He has this toy, and bro, like right away, I laughed at it because I'm a 33-year-old man rewatching this,
mhm.
but we're gonna send Rito, right, to the North Pole, bro. We're gonna send Rito to the North Pole to like basically force elves to make more.
Right?
The North Pole, okay? All right. Happens.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip over something really quick just because I think
Do your
this was
thing.
super interesting.
Do your thing.
Like, there's a scene, right? Aisha and Kimberly trying to help out this little girl, right, with the song.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry, no offense. I deal with kids all day. Gotta skip. Anyways, um, literally all day long. Shout outs to
Yeah.
me. Shout outs to them too. They got me a lot of gifts. Anyways, um, we arrive in the North Pole. You see Santa and is checking on his elves, right? Doing all this. Here appears Rito, which like oh boy's just straight up skeleton, jacked up. He's a jacked up version of Mr. Bones,
Yeah.
right? Without the black hat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Tango Warriors. He's taken over. Santa and the elf try to stand up to him. Not happening, brother, because I guess there's too much. And they overpower them. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. As a kid, I've been watching a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Santa's very strong. I've watched the Santa Claus. How did they just dominate him like this? Like, what did you think about that part?
I first of all thought it was very. It's kind of. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but like, so Santa exists and is real
Mm-hmm.
in the world of Rangers. Okay. Um, but I love how like when Zordon tells them, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go do this," they're all just like, "Oh, we're going to like okay." Like it's just like a no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "We're going to the North Pole to help Santa." You telling
Mm-hmm.
me not one of them is like, yeah. Santa real? You telling
He
me
is
Santa
real.
real?
What are you talking about, Marcus? What are you talking about?
It's like, I mean, I guess when it's like, hey, we have this literal floating head and a robot sidekick, and we had dinosaurs and all this other, I get, I guess it's kind
Well,
of
and also,
easier.
Marcus, who's the audience?
I know, I know, but I just
Mm-hmm.
love how like they're just like, this is just another day. It's just another day of Rangers. We're gonna go. We're helping out these less fortunate kids, and now we're gonna go save the North Pole, which is great. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of hilarious how like easy they just sort of like accepted it. But I thought it was
Yeah.
weird though how they're saying like, oh, like your powers won't work there. So like
Oh yeah.
that's why they couldn't morph. So they had to really rely on like, dude, let's be real.
Themselves.
The elves and Home Alone tactics, tripping them up with like marbles and stuff, okay? But I'm
Yeah.
also like, y'all can't just like actually fight though. Like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying there wasn't any actual like a. You ain't getting like a unmorphed park fight like we always do. It's just like a here's some marbles,
Mm-hmm.
like here's some toys that we're gonna trip you with this ribbon and stuff like that. Like okay,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
but
Um,
Zordon makes this point though about like your like their powers won't work. And then Billy's like, well, then Rito's won't work either. And then find out it doesn't. But then, because Santa makes this point, he's or not Santa, Zordon.
the
Same
same thing,
person.
right?
Same thing.
Same
Basically
person,
same
man.
thing. Similar.
Yeah.
He makes this point of because of the location of it and the amount of holiday magic. So you're telling me there's holiday magic. So holiday magic can interfere with the morphing grid.
Yeah, that's literally what happened, right?
So if this boy got holiday magic, why ain't he hoing Rito and Goldar and be like, oh, you came over here? Huh, nah.
Not.
Let me tell you what you're not gonna do. This is what you are not gonna do today, Rito. And it's like, and this is the thing too. Goldar, let's be real, has been very much demoted. This
Yeah.
has this is when we get the de-evolution of Goldar. Goldar went from like that menacing number two dude general to like an even more bigger badass once he got his wings back. But then
Yeah.
after that, it's just like now me and me and Rito here are best friends and we're goofy and stuff. So it
And
was just like
I think
I,
what's interesting too, Marcus, is that and we'll have to talk about this at another time because it gets real deep.
mhm.
Rito initially, bro, is beasting on the Rangers.
He is. He
Like
yeah.
dominating. That's why they had to get rid of the Thunder Swords, right? Like,
He destroyed all those.
yeah, they got the ninja powers.
Mhm.
So, and then he becomes just like Goldar, which is always interesting. Like, I don't know if there's just like a thing out there that, oh, they're too scary.
And I think that was it. And I think Rito probably had that more too, because think about it. He's just this walking skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And homie was like breathing fire and all that.
Dude, dominating when he first showed up.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like his dad's Master Vile, like
Yeah.
heck of strong. Um, Real quick, did you catch though? Like even in the beginning of the show episode, to like around this point, we uh we get Kimberly trying to get Tommy on that mistletoe.
Mm-hmm. And it's the whole thing of like a dang. First it's in first of all, Bulk and Skull coming over here interrupting.
Oh, I know.
And Skull's kissing her. It's like, hold up, dude. Tommy, what you doing? You just gonna let that slide, Tommy?
Yeah,
You just gonna let that slide, Tommy?
yeah, man. That's just funny. Throughout this, right? That's what that kept happening.
Yeah, that was like the recurring theme. Like, ooh, are they finally gonna,
Yeah, and they just. I thought you were right though. It was an interesting excuse me, concept, but there's no powers there.
Yeah. Like all they did was teleport, and that was it. And then fought them with like Home Alone tactics, which was pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting and like I guess timely for like the weird holidayness, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, looking back, I'm like, this is different. This reminded me of almost like the first episode where they didn't have powers,
Yes.
but they were better.
Yeah.
So
And I
like, okay, Aisha can fight now.
and I will say this. This felt like that like Ranger team. Like
Okay, yeah,
like like I know it's obviously the team from like the movies, but I
yeah.
felt like once they got the Stone Canyon trio, this
Hmm.
was really this like sort of I felt like that's almost like a tonal shift in a sense.
Yeah, okay. I
Like
agree with you.
it's something about it that is just like watching them all get together, like when they like go off, like first
Hmm.
to the command center and then to the North Pole. It was very much like a yeah, this that team. They're that
Yeah.
team,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Like
I agree
they're
with you.
handling business.
And they were
And I
like,
think too, like even Rocky, they tried him because I know, like, let's be real, he was kind of like a just there.
hmm
He was the now that I look at it, he's the Shotzi of Survivor Series. He's just happy
oh
to be
yeah,
there. But
yeah,
even then, you hear his lines though, he was like, let's go. Let's do it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when you get
No,
the
you're
other
right.
teams before, and when you look at the other team, it's just interesting to me how they're just always like, oh, I don't know. Can we do this? It's going to be
Yeah.
tricky. But now they're like, now we got
Hmm.
they had that like this team of say, they had this like presence about them. Like they weren't nervous about anything. They're like, all right, we doing this. Let's go.
Which that's where I think like maybe it was a positive that they didn't have powers.
Possibly because it's part of the more kind of humanized, like you said earlier, it's humanizing them, but then we get to see them more of like a okay, what you doing without it. And I feel like they've also learned that too, because remember, like I said, this is post the movie and Ninja
Hmm.
Quest. You see that, remember in the movie, they was gonna work by the Tangas at the beginning on the beach.
Oh my
And
gosh,
Adam
right?
says, we need our powers. I remember him, I was like, we need our powers.
Yeah.
And Billy always saying, you never realize like how what was the line? You never realize how great morphing is until you can't do it anymore. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he said
But I
something like
feel
that.
like with this now group, like I know the movie's not canon, but even though through Ninja Quest it wasn't as dire, as the movie was. But I
Hmm.
feel like we still kind of got that, like where they learn, like, hey, at the end of the day, we the Power Rangers. And they just like, handling business.
For real.
So
Um, it was interesting because like I don't know, it did bring them like closer together. Like you said, they did feel
yeah.
like more of a team. The fact that they overcame that, right?
Hmm.
They overcame it, and then they were still able to go back and handle business, and give presents away,
Right. And
right?
then,
Which is
hey,
so Power Rangers, right?
yeah,
Such a
they're
Power
like,
Ranger
man,
episode.
we're behind schedule now. We're behind, we're behind schedule. Hey, it's okay. It's a holiday miracle. Is this a miracle season? Hey, and then, hey
Yeah,
guys, let's help. Because of course the Power Rangers are gonna help. Like
like
Santa. Of
yeah,
course they are.
of
Of
course they are.
course.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
And
What the
then
heck?
of course Santa's gonna be like, oh, here, Tommy, like take these to the kids.
Yeah, because if that didn't happen, this wouldn't be a Power Ranger show.
Right? It was
Yeah.
just so like, yeah.
No, I agree with you. I'm like, yeah, I agree, bro. I was like, oh, okay, sick one, está bien. Like, all right. Uh,
It
and
was,
it's interesting. They got like, I thought it was funny though that the villains lost, right? They lost. They didn't get what they were supposed to,
yeah.
but they still like celebrated like
Yeah.
Christmas.
Well, like I said, at the end of the day, um, they lost,
Hmm.
but then they go back and then they're celebrating, and it's like Rito and Goldar, ooh, I got you this present. Like, what? Like, and to me, that was kind of like, I get it, but it's just weird, like how that for me was really when it like reminded me, and I got kind of mad. I was like, damn it, I forgot how much they like nerfed Goldar.
Yeah.
And that
What
just
I
always bugged me.
what I did think though, Marcus was cool is that this is almost like the start of that budding friendship, and like they would be comedy relief later, but with Rito and Goldar, like he got him a gift. Like that's
Yeah,
different, no?
no, it was
That's
cool.
different.
It was cool. But
Like I just thought it was different. I was like, oh, okay, like this is different. I'm not even saying it was good. I'm just saying like you were getting seeds of like these guys aren't in competition,
mhm.
like even though like you would think they'd be in competition, right?
Yeah, because there's always that I gotta be the head, general and all
Yeah,
that.
like so there wasn't no competition though, which is I guess is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But they, and it's funny they gave him a Christmas gift. Like I didn't know they celebrated Christmas on the moon.
Yeah. And
Like did you know this, Marcus?
there's a whole bunch of interesting stuff going on the moon. Rito
Yeah, like
celebrating
I,
Christmas. Zed was like is Jewish. Like, there's a lot going on.
yeah, like okay, like tight. I didn't know this is what we did. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right? I was just laughing about it. Some of it, I was like, oh, okay, this is sick. I guess like this is what we do on the moon when we don't win. Um, but then, like, I guess towards the end, they did be nice. I did gloss over it earlier, like Aisha and Kimberly, right, with this little girl who had
Hmm.
issues with not seeing her dad a lot, and Kimberly brought her the real gift of the dad, which I thought was cool because like that was kind of like timely, right? For
Yeah,
people,
especially
like
for
especially
her.
for her, but then like holidays, I feel like in general and
Hmm.
stuff. There's just stuff in general, right? Like there's always a parent, it seems like in movies, especially, I feel like they did a ton back in the day,
Yeah,
right?
always.
That like the parent's not there, but they finally show up to something. And that was cool, right? Like I thought it was
Mhm.
cool. to see, and then like this episode, and this is like I think we've mentioned it before. When we cover the movie, we'll really get it. Um, man, like this is really season three is Kimberly, Tommy, eventually Catherine season.
It's their show.
It's their show, and this was really for it too because you could see that that happened. Um, Kimberly and Tommy finally got to kiss, right? And it was like a big deal. And of course, after they kiss, here's her mom.
Yeah.
She got her mom for the holidays,
Hmm.
right? It's just of course, it's Power Rangers, Marcus, right? It's gonna work out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how like all of that happened. Like this was basically like Kimberly's show, and like I'm dreaming of a White Ranger. Now I get why I'm dreaming of a White Ranger,
Because it's about her
and she's been dreaming of a White Ranger, and she got her White Ranger.
and her mom.
And then of course they'd be singing Silent Night at the end.
Hmm.
And it ain't like that. By the way, everybody's singing Silent Night around this time because Boys to Men, when they showed up on Fresh Prince for Little Nicky,
Yep.
Silent Night, Holy Night. Where you at on this next one, dog? That's supposed to be on that next key.
Oh, okay. So all is calm.
And then I'll do the deep voice for the guy with the
Is
cane wheelchair.
bright.
All is bright around. That was just a little snippet of our holiday album 2024. But interesting episode. Not bad. Like, to be honest, I think we
Yeah,
picked a good one.
it's a very, let's be real. At the end of the day, this is a very kid show Christmas special.
Oh, such a team builder,
Yeah.
right? Like when we were watching, when I was watching it, I was like, this is a team builder for sure.
Hmm.
Like this is team builder city.
Hmm.
Getting to know your characters better. Uh, Such a Power Ranger show, like such a Power Ranger episode. Like this is truly Power
The only
Rangers.
one who I felt like didn't do anything in here was Adam.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
like,
No, you're not wrong on
he
that.
Tommy's Tommy
Uh-huh.
lifting all. Here, little girl, let me lift you up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, he's just hanging a mistletoe, doing everything. Tommy's
Yep.
Tommy.
Tommy's Tommy, man.
Billy's the one coming up with, oh, I think we could do this, blah blah. Kimberly and Aisha got the little kids choir, but then on top of that, they're the ones that distract Rito and
Mm-hmm.
Goldar at from the get go. Rocky's just over there, like he's ready.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Adam. That's what I feel like.
And that.
I feel like that was kind of Adam throughout, like Mighty Morphin. But once Zeo kicked in, he's like, "Oh, I'm second in command now." At least until Gold Ranger gets here for like those few episodes, I was second in command, and then Turbo too. Shoot,
Yeah, it's almost like he just started getting more I guess like time, right?
yeah,
Like he started getting way more screen time, which I thought was cool for him, but like he wasn't it sounds terrible, but he was number 4 in the group of guys.
he was. No,
He was number
100%.
4. He was number 4 and
Hmm.
he's still somewhat ish. I don't even want to say he's like new, but he's kind of new, right? Like,
He was just like, like I mean, and you could tell within the group, like with when it was like a him and Rocky thing, like especially in the movie,
mhm.
that like pre-existing friendship always came through. But
Yeah,
like,
that they're buddies.
yeah, but it was just always like, yeah, it just always felt like out of the new group of people, he was just kind of there.
No, for
At the
real.
Stone Canyon, he
The
was
Stone
almost like
Canyon.
the third wheel.
Yeah, the out of the Stone Canyon
Mhm.
trio, and they kind of were like he kind of was, bro. Like
Yeah,
as weird as it, like looking
but
back, I
as
guess you'd say now.
and I think too, like that's why, like whenever he does have moments, he does still shine in those moments. Like I'm a frog,
Yeah,
memorable stuff.
like isn't
Elevator
that
going
weird?
up,
Isn't that wild? Like
elevator
he
going
hit
down.
like that simple like lines is very memorable.
Yeah.
The frog one's
Mhm.
hecka memorable.
So he had his stuff, like, don't get me, but like it was when he had those moments to shine, he definitely did when they let him do stuff. And I think that was kind of like a we don't really kind of know what to do with you type thing.
Yeah, 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 for
So
sure. Um, so yeah, man, this was it. I'm dreaming of a White Ranger. Not a bad one.
No.
Not a bad one. I'm still. We got to be here next year to do this that creepy alpha one. That'll be fun one to talk about. So next episode is episode 35. I did tell Marcus while we were recording this that I'm gonna put him on the spot because he did say he was gonna try to think of what to do because normally we would do anniversary stuff, but
Uh-huh.
you
We
know,
passed.
yep. So Marcus, what do we want to do? Hopefully something cool, like hopefully something timely, easy, or not even timely, just something to talk about. There's probably a lot of things to talk about, you know.
Um, well, I'll say this for you, just first of all, with this little break we got, somebody should definitely jump back into RPM. Just saying.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
I'm just saying it's
Maybe for other episodes, but probably not
for
this one.
later. For
Not for
later.
35. That's a
No,
little
not for
short.
35. 35 a little short notice. Shoot, I don't know, man. Actually, I kind of
Can I,
want to
if
jump
you
in.
don't know, then go ahead. I was gonna say one. If you don't have one, I
Okay,
can
I
throw
was
one
gonna
out there.
say we should look at, like, I remember we were talking about doing this for every other, like the double episodes, like 22, 33, all that. I know
Hmm.
we already did 33, but I was thinking, bro, we should kind of look back at either like a VR Troopers or a Beetle, or not, we already did Beetleborgs, but Mystic Knights.
Oh,
Maybe,
okay.
shoot, maybe even I know we said one time Digimon, that season 4. That's kind of like a lot of people call it Power Ranger season, just because they got that kind of similar like vibe. So
That's a long one.
I'm
Those
saying
are
we
those
got
are
to like
long games. And I like where your head's at with
I was
that
saying
stuff
we
though.
just at least do the first
But
episode or something.
I feel like for 35, you need like a there's a lot of like there's almost like a lot of things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I have a good one.
All right.
You tell me you're gonna pick between these two.
Okay.
Okay. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie 95
Ooh.
or 2017.
Ooh. Ooh.
Because those are good to like there's a big discuss there's a lot to talk about.
There is. I would let's do the 95 movie.
Okay,
Let's do
cool.
95 movie for 35. But then
95.
because I want us to hit um I think we should hit 2017 movie here in a couple months on its 7th anniversary year. Because it's crazy to think it is gonna be 7 years since that movie came out. But also seven
That's wild.
years, it's always like if you look at stuff like historically, 7 years is always like a debt forgiveness, clean slate type thing. And I think
Uh
now that, like, especially like we said this before, and a lot of people are even saying this now, that movie ages so well. And it's
yeah,
almost
yeah,
like a
yeah.
we didn't like, I don't want to say we didn't appreciate it. I appreciate the hell out of it.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's one of those things like let's look at it now through a new, 7 year later. So
Okay.
yeah, let's hit that Mind Morphin Power Ranger the movie.
You got it. Let's hit that.
You got that brother in perp selling lean to the kids.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. All right, so let's hit
You
that
on that perp.
95, that ooze. All
Yep.
right, dog. That's a good one. Lead them out.
It's Rangers of the Grid. It's
Yeah, yeah.
Richard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Marcus.
Uh-huh.
We got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Grocery bag.